Wind in the trees, taunting you, teasing you. Come out and play. Wind in the trees, beckoning, heckling. Who are you trying to please? A good little student, so well behaved, sequestered with all of your schoolwork. You take extra credit wherever you can, because you must learn, you must. Wind in the trees, taunting you, teasing you. Come out and play. Wind in the trees, beckoning, heckling. Who are you pleasing today? Can be frightfully playful to a heart like a kite on a string. What would it be you'd let go of if you knew you could have everything? In the trees, taunting you, teasing you. Come out and play. Wind in the trees, beckoning, heckling. Who are you pleasing today? Are you pleasing today? Wind in the trees. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live stream service at Unity of Wimberley, Texas. I am Reverend Kit Holmes. Welcome. It is Sunday, August 15th, 2021. We're so glad that you've joined us. We are here again in a live stream only situation as we moved back to it last week. Sure wish it was another way right now. We are always constantly, I can't tell you how often we are talking about this here to make sure that we are doing the right thing. What we think is the right thing, what we think Spirit's highest and best for us is to take care of everyone. Because we love you, we want to see you. We don't want anybody to get sick. We don't want anybody to die. So here we are this morning, and we are going to talk about taking things personally. We're going to dive into that a little bit more later. But for now, I'm going to invite Julie Reagans up, and we are with Katie Marie with us in the house this morning. So join us, if you will, to just liven things up with the spirit of love. And here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. in the spirit of love. I live in the spirit of love. I live in the spirit of love, because love lives in me. I move in the spirit of love.
In the spirit of love.
I move in the spirit of love.
Spirit of love.
I move in the spirit of love, because love moves in me. I reach out in the spirit of love.
Spirit of love.
I reach out in the spirit of love.
Spirit of love.
I reach out in the spirit of love, because love reaches out through me. I heal in the spirit of love.
Spirit of love.
I heal in the spirit of love.
In the spirit of love.
I heal in the spirit of love, because love heals through me. We're free in the spirit of love.
In the spirit of love.
We're free in the spirit of love.
Spirit of love.
Yeah, we're free.
I said we're free.
In the spirit of love, because love sets us free. Yeah, because love sets us free. Because love sets us free.
Thank you, guys. Good morning, everybody. Please join me as we affirm our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And now let us unite our spirits as we hold this vision for our church. We are an open-hearted spiritual community, powerfully transforming our world by honoring the sacred in all. And we practice this mission. Inspired by our shared spiritual awakening, we offer practical teachings that empower healthy, abundant, and meaningful living. And now with our Science of Mind reading this morning, Cecilia Timon.
Good morning. So Ernest Holmes said, "We must become what we want, and we will never be able to do that while we still persist in seeing what we do not want, no matter where we see it." Today's reading is from Science of Mind's Guide for Spiritual Living for Sunday, August 15th, by the Reverend Ron Fox, entitled "Believe It and See It." Holmes tells us our word has power and that everything in our life depends on our belief. Our belief sets the limit to what we demonstrate. That is why we say, "It is done unto you as you believe." Years ago, I read a perfect example of this about a man who believed he would die by the time he was 75. For all of his adult life, he repeated this belief to his friends and his family. When he turned 75, he was in great shape and his family had a big party for him. Several months later, he became ill and made the transition before he turned 76. His belief came true. That was by Ernest Holmes. So Jeffrey, in his book, The Principles of Healing, wrote that we are not put in hell by a superior intelligence, but rather by our own beliefs. He wrote about how ponies will stand in one spot for hours when their reins are free. if the reins are hanging in front of them. They are trained to believe that the rein is fastened to something. So the ponies are perfectly free, but they are not free because they are tethered in their own minds. Many of us are also tethered by our belief of something that is not true. We need to have a reason to change our beliefs. I think a good reason might be that our life isn't working. The first step in changing our beliefs is becoming aware of what they are. Inspirational author Alan Cohen offers an easy way to begin. Simply ask yourself, what would someone have to believe to keep attracting situations like this? Give it a try and see what results you get. And the affirmation for today is, today I examine what is working and not working for me. I release what no longer serves me, and I replace it with new, vibrant beliefs that place me on the path of spiritual growth. So let's take it into prayer. And for a moment, let's center using our breath, and taking a nice breath in. I know I feel the divine in me when I start to breathe and relax. And I know that we are all one. I see myself as whole and loving, and I see the love in others when I choose to radiate love. I choose to see the good around me, and I release any sense of separation from my good, and I release what I no longer need. I know that I am unlimited potential, and I am grateful to be free and loved. And I say thank you, God, for seeing this already done in my mind and in my life. And so it is.
Thank you, Cecilia. Everybody's got a story. The Lord knows I've got mine. All our pain and all our glory, all the masks we hide behind. I'm standing here in wonder at my faith in things unseen, holding back or diving under. There is no in between. Everything's a lesson, everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Oh, return to love. Return, return to love. Oh, return to love. Return, return to love. Deconstructing my defenses, dismantling my pride, making peace and mending fences with who I am inside. When I let myself go deeper, love is closer than my breath, my master and my keeper. beating right here in my chest. Everything's a lesson, everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror in everything I do. My heart is open and my mind is clear. Now I'm asking you to return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love, return. Return, return to love. Return, return to love. Return, return to love. Good morning again, everybody. Welcome. Return to love. Everybody's got a story. Lord knows I've got mine. And tying in into the Ernest Holmes reading this morning about our belief and what we create with our beliefs. Talk title today is Sticks and Stones. We've heard that old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. A couple of weeks ago, Reverend Jill talked about the power of words, and this month we are in the study of the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This last Wednesday, in our Wednesday class, in our Zoom class, we talked about being impeccable with your word, the power of words. Actually, that was the week after Reverend Jill's talk, and this past Wednesday we talked about not taking things personally. That is the second agreement. Do not take things personally. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But first, a story. There was a patrol officer, police guy, on his way home from work, a very long day, a very long week, had a stack of papers on his desk. He was tired, he was stressed, he just wanted to get home, watch some TV, maybe have a couple of beers. He's driving home, and he's going down the road and coming around the curve at a very high rate of speed and pretty erratically is this car just like veering around this corner, and the guy drives by and his window's open and he yells, "Pig!" And the cop is like, excuse me, hits the accelerator. He's going to whip that thing around and go in high pursuit of this person who just called him a pig, and he runs smack dab into a wild boar. So, taking things personally seems like a little bit of a, not of a big deal, but our instinct, our reaction, what we get poked by, and all of a sudden it's about us. How many of you, especially with what's going on in the world right now with the Delta variant of the pandemic, what's going on in our situation right here at Unity of Wimberley, where we, at the beginning of June, were like, yeah, baby, we're opening up again, cool, we're still gonna be careful, and then wham, right back to it. 18 months of us not knowing really what's coming next, and we all have our stories, do we not? Our beliefs, and what we're creating with those beliefs. So what is it about taking things personally? What is it, other than, the bottom line is it's conditioning. And it's also kind of our makeup as human beings. We come into this world absolutely dependent on other people to feed us, clothe us, keep us alive. And in that process, they teach us their beliefs. We are conditioned, and this is all stuff from the Four Agreements. This is from the introduction as well. What Don Miguel Ruiz calls it is the domestication of us. And we think about domestication maybe with our pets, with animals in the animal kingdom that didn't used to be considered pets, that have been domesticated to our lifestyle. So the domestication is basically what he talks about and describes it as we go into the dream. And not the dream of, hey, I'm going to go off and do this wonderful thing, but the dream of the illusion of what life is. And it's all our stories. So we are naturally inclined, when we hear something comes at us, a car drives by and shouts something, maybe they might be looking at us, they might not be. But we hear something, we see something, and all of our story comes up, and we say, they just hurt my feelings. Taking it personally. It's not a really productive way to live, as most of us know, because what does it do to us? It gets us stuck in another story. It takes us right back into all of those places, and most of the time, those conditioning things that we heard in our formative years. All of the beliefs that we took on, all of the attitudes of our immediate family, our society, our churches, our schools, everything that we are influenced by, everything that we take in through all of our senses repeatedly. And so pretty much we all kind of orbit around ourselves in our own little universes thinking everything is about me. That's really what taking things personally is all about. We make it about us, when most of the time it has nothing to do with us. It's just this little crazy little habit we have, and it's about perspective, right? We are projectors. If you think about when you used to be able to go to a movie in a movie theater, and way back in the day, the old projectors with the reel of tape on it. We are both the projectors and the screens of our own lives. So on the projector side of it, we write the story. We are the lead characters. We're all the characters. We are the producer, the director, the actor. And we are continuously putting out to the world our beliefs. Most of the time we're doing it unconsciously. We're just going along our day thinking, yep, I'm the toast of the town. I was going to say a word that I shouldn't say on camera, but you know it starts with an S. You know what I was talking about. And we really do. And not from that place of really it's self-centeredness most of the time, but just I'm in my world. We are all in our own worlds. And what's the next thing I'm doing? Well, I'm going to my job, and I've got my family, and I'm because what's coming next? And we're on autopilot. But all the time we're doing that, we are projecting everything out into the world about what we believe about the world, about what we believe about other people. And when something happens that doesn't fit our narrative, that's what's going on. Somebody's response, somebody's reaction, somebody's decision, somebody things that affects you, it affects how we think, oh, they're doing this to me. We talk a lot about the layers, the levels of consciousness in this teaching and in this practice. And many years ago, 20 or so years ago, Michael Beckwith, Dr. Michael Beckwith, kind of sussed it out a little bit more about the 4 levels of consciousness. I know I've talked about it here. I think Jill has it sometime too over the years. But that very first level, that low-level autopilot, we are operating from our subconscious, not really paying attention to what we're doing at all. That is the to me. Things are happening to me. That is the victim mode. That is the, it's everybody's fault that my life is horrible. The second level of consciousness is by me, where we start to get a little bit more, I see there's cause and effect happening in my life. I realize that I have some say in this. I have choices. I have choice about my mental attitude, about the way that I choose to look at life. So I have recognizing some responsibility in how my life is turning out. That reading from Ernest Holmes that Cecilia read, that a man believed, he talked about it all his adult life. I'm going to die when I'm 75. And he did, even though he was perfectly healthy and vibrant on his 75th birthday. The through me level of consciousness is when we realize that we are in this beautiful dance, this balanced dance, this give and take reciprocal relationship with the divine, the creator, whatever name you give it, infinite intelligence. So that we start to recognize that through our mindfulness practices, we get a lot of really, really good guidance all the time via intuition, insights. Things that come to us, things that we know, for some reason we know without knowing why we know something. The fourth level of consciousness is as me. That is the kind of ascended master where we are operating consciously, knowing that we are expressions of that source. Jesus, the Buddha, the mystics live in this world, but they are not of this world, meaning there is no attachment to the story. There is no attachment to the story. It is being constantly in that flow, creating, expressing. So the taking things personally means we're kind of hanging down here in victim mode. You are changing my narrative, therefore it is your fault that my life is not what I'd like it to be. So how do we change that? How do we change those default mechanisms? Well, the thing is, you hear me talk about it all the time. You hear Jill talk about it all the time. It is called a spiritual practice. It is called a mindfulness practice. Mindfulness can solve a lot of life's issues if we actually just did it. I know many of you, most of you that are watching today, watching from home, watching it on the recording, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in this country, you wouldn't be here if at some point you didn't realize, as from the reading today, that your life wasn't working the way you wanted it to. And however you found yourself to unity or science of mind or new thought in some way, shape, or form, you're here. You made a decision, you made a choice to be here to change your own narrative. What we talked about this last Wednesday in the 4 Agreements class of the not taking it personally, there was some really good discussion and some really good questions. And it's the one that got the most face time, as it were, was that question about it ties back to being impeccable with your word, which is the first agreement, but it moves into that place of how do I not take something personally? How do I make somebody else not take it personally? I think you know the immediate response is we cannot make anyone do anything that they are not in agreement with. If we are using our word not impeccably, if we're using it out of integrity, if we are using our word to purposefully hurt someone, we're not really doing it unless they take it on, but we are really doing it to ourselves. Because again, we are the projector and we are the screen of our lives, of our own lives. We back up, and if I am projecting all of this hate or discord or you're wrong, I'm right, I'm going to dig my heels in, we're really not really doing anything to somebody else. And it only becomes an agreement when you say something that basically when you push their buttons. And when you are intentionally pushing someone's buttons, the only thing you're doing is giving yourself a little temporary fix of adrenaline to make yourself feel better about yourself, but you're really just contributing to the discord of the entire planet. So taking things personally, and we hear it in our language all the time. I take offense to that statement. And my mindful response to that is now, well, you took it. I didn't intend it that way. But you take offense. You just grabbed right a hold of it and agreed with it. It speaks to something in us that we do believe about ourselves. We're less than. We're not smart enough. We're not as rich as the other person, so there's something wrong with us. So any of that language out there in the world, at any given time, we take on. We take it on, and all it does is reinforce that belief about ourselves does not serve us. Until we get to the place where we say, wow, that's really a horrible way to live. I don't want to do that anymore. And that is the question. So how do we stop? How do we stop taking things personally? The first thing we do when we hear something, we get in the habit of stopping in the moment, and rather than reacting as best we can, we take a breath and we ask the question, is this true about me? Is what I'm feeling right now, is this person just said this to me, is it true? There might be some degree of truth to it. Part of our discussion this last Wednesday was somebody talking about that. And my response to that was being careful of the language of using the words always and never. That black and white thinking that we are so into right now in society, in the world. We are so into it's either right or it's wrong, it's black or it's white, it's this and this and this, and I am definite about, I'm clear on this. When there are so many degrees, there's so many levels of things influencing those words. So the discussion was, when I get into a situation and blah, 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 this happens, when somebody says this to me, I can't help but take it personally. And we pulled it apart. We disassembled it. We reverse engineered it and backed it out with using not only intellect and spiritual logic, as well as our mental capacity. So let's back this up a little bit. And this is how we stop taking things personally. If we can look at it and say, let's take away the word always or the word never, and think about times in your life where it wasn't true. In this case, it was somebody that said, they always take offense when somebody says, you're talking too much. And I said, so the thing is to back up and say, when are the times in your life that you knew you maybe didn't talk at all? It's a matter of perspective. This is the other part of it. I know people in my life, and I talked about this in the class. My maternal grandfather maybe never said 10 words in visits with him. But there was a peaceful calm about him. There are people that I know that think saying more than 10 words is too much. There are people that I know that can talk for 6 hours and don't think they talk too much. So I said, so let's back this out of it's not an always and never. Sometimes it may be true, and other times it's not. But let's back away from this all or nothing judgment that we put on ourselves. we say words to ourselves that are so horrible. We take things personally of the things that we've said to ourselves. It's nuts, is it not? I've done it. I've gotten in what I call the do loop, where when I'm stressed, I'm tired, something's happened, something came at me unexpectedly, and I wasn't quite on my game to be able to breathe into it and recognize I've got a lot of tools, I do, and I am able to most of the time pull myself out of that I'm going down the rabbit hole. But I know with a mindfulness practice, and over the years, the many years that I've been doing this, I know my trigger signals. I know many of you do too. Many of you who are in 12-step programs. That's why you have sponsors. That's why you have people surrounding you, supporting you, holding you up. I have mentors. I have those people in my life that when I have gone through my whole toolkit to get myself out of the I'm taking personally what I am saying to myself that I know is self-destructive. When I can't find any more tools that I know how to use, it's like that old game show. It's like, the lifeline, call a friend. And I do, and that first thing, and I know the people that I can call because I can simply say, hey, can you help me get grounded? Can you help me get my feet back under me? And it's just that much of a simple perspective shift to be able to do that. So all of this, as many of you know who do this work, it doesn't just happen like that. It requires practice. It requires persistence. It requires consistency in that practice. And as we talked about this on Wednesday, was the most interesting thing happens. That when we are mindful, when we are in communion, constant communion with Spirit, this magical thing happens where suddenly we really do stop taking things personally. It's like this thing, it just kind of falls away. And we have the discernment when we learn it's really not about us. That person who just sent you a vitriolic text, which is something that happened to me last week from somebody I hadn't heard from in more than a year. But through a series of things, I was like, okay. But I was in a place to recognize through practice, through my consistent, persistent, and doing the internal work, healing work, I recognized everything that was being said to me was an absolute projection of somebody's really deep pain. And that's the thing about this. When we can recognize that we are all of us, not just some of us over here and some of us over there, all of us have been experiencing enormous pain through this pandemic. Losses of jobs, changes in relationship, losses of loved ones from a disease. Or not a disease, it's a virus. Loss of faith in leadership, there is so much loss happening right now, we can't even begin to really wrap our heads around how much and how long we're going to be dealing with this in the future. And so it's my invitation through this that we stop for a minute. And I'm talking about anything, the news, it doesn't matter, that we get in this habit of stopping and taking a breath and saying, is this true about me? Is this true for me? And getting in the habit and the practice of recognizing, okay, maybe it's true some of the time, maybe it's not true at all. But rather than just leaving it there, it requires the next step, which is more investigation. If it's a conversation you're having with someone and they've said someone and you feel yourself just go, wow, that was painful. I just took that personally. You may not say those words, but you feel the interior, the reaction to it. Rather than going into, oh, my feelings are hurt and I'm going to go hide in the corner, is to be able to stand in front of you and ask for clarification. It takes practice, yes. But if you are with someone that you love and care about deeply, it is being able to stand in the moment and simply say, is that what you meant? This is what I just heard. When you said this, or not even that, I just heard you say this, and this is how it feels right now. Is that your intention? Most of the time, you will find that person had a very different intention, if they are able to articulate it. And those who have practiced not taking things personally will be able to say that. They'll be able to say, no, that was not what I meant at all. I'm sorry. This is what I meant. Boom. Done. No more drama. Everybody moves on. Everything gets set down that felt icky. The more challenging part is when we encounter people, for example, like the person who sent me a text, to recognize to let it go. Don't respond. Because it may continue the drama. It keeps you engaged in the drama you don't want to be in, because you feel it draining you. You feel your gut tighten. You feel all these things are like, this is not how I want to do this. Is there something that I can do to change this situation? If there's not, continuing to poke the bear, as it were, to try to get a different response out of them, what does it do? It just continues the drama. It continues all of that wasted energy that could otherwise be directed at something very much more loving and joyful and productive. And you may say, Kit, that sounds like a whole lot of work to do all this. And yes, it is. Yes, it is. But that's what this spiritual practice is about. It is that level of personal responsibility, choice to look inward, choice to change the way you're living. If you ain't happy, the only one that can change that is you. And that's the part of this, taking it personally. Not just the negative stuff. This is the hard part. When people say to you, oh my God, you're awesome, and you're na-na-na-na-na. And you're the biggest thing since whatever, and all that in a bag of Fritos. Means really good, by the way. I learned that many years ago when somebody said that to me. They said, you're all that in a bag of Fritos. And I went, is that good? But it's staying in balance with that, because the flip side of this is when somebody is constantly complimenting you and bringing those things, there's several things happening there as well. There's a projection for them. There's something that they are drawn to you about, that they would like to be able to live that way. That's cool. If it's in a healthy way of, hey, tell me how you're doing this. You're doing something right in your life. It's pretty awesome. Would you be willing to share? That's where mutual growth can happen. When it is simply, the lack of a better term, the stalkers and the people that are just gaga over celebrity culture. There is no substance there. It is the image, it's this, it's that, it's that, it's that. I want that, I want that, I want that. Oh, you're awesome, awesome, awesome. What can I get from you? And that's really what we're doing. When we take things personal, we are just flipping it around and projecting it right back out, saying, me, 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 what can you give me? How can you make me happy? And we know it doesn't work. So, mindfulness practice. Active listening. We are so not good at active listening. Why? Because, hey, if I'm not hearing what's agreeing with my narrative, I'm going to shut you out. And it takes work. It takes patience. It takes being gentle with ourselves, being mindful with ourselves to say, oh, yeah, I'm directing some pretty harsh words at myself. And I'm also taking personally what I shouldn't be taking personally about myself. It's just surrounding myself with all of this stuff that is not true. And why do I know it is not true? Because we go back to step 1, step 2 of unity principles, science of mind principles. God is all there is, operating in, through, and as us. Not God, something else, not God, and you standing out on the periphery. That's how I know that you have the tools. We all have the tools. You have the wherewithal. You have the connection. We are never separate from it because it is moving in and through and as us. It is us. It. And all of the stuff that we were taught, that it's, whatever that stuff is, it says, no, that's not true, I'm not worthy. Gonna tell you right now, that is an insult to that life form. It doesn't make you any more spiritual or holy to say you're not worthy. There's a whole lot of things and a lot of scriptures and a lot of books and a lot of different faith traditions and spiritual traditions that all say the same thing. So I'm going to invite you to get over yourself a little bit. Recognize that there is the divine in you, in all of us. And that we can all be in this beautiful, absolute, joyful relationship. And when we recognize that, and when we practice knowing that, and when we practice letting go of the idea that we ourselves or anybody else is standing outside of that circle, standing outside of the allness of all, it's not possible. When we recognize that, we don't take anything personally. We know that everybody's on their own path. We honor it. We can do it with compassion. We can do it with patience. And most importantly, we do it because we live it by example. So don't take it personally. Katie, you're already up. So let's take this into meditation. And just shore that up, affirm that. Let's start by getting ourselves grounded. If you're seated, uncross your legs, uncross your arms, open up, just open up. If you feel safe to do it, I'm going to invite you to trust that it is safe for you to ground yourself. Feet flat on the floor, and imagine, we do this often, that we've got roots going right down. And we imagine the top of us just like a tree. Our arms, branches, head open at the top, reaching for that sky, reaching for the infinite. All one tree, different parts, doing the job of holding us safely. And I invite you to breathe into your heart space and open that up a little bit even more and allow my words in this spiritual mind treatment, allow my words to become yours. I know that there is that one power and that one presence and that one energy that regardless of the limited name we give it, it is the all. It is beyond anything that any one human or any group of humans will probably ever be able to comprehend, because that is not for us to figure out. what is ours to figure out, what is ours to know, what is ours to trust, believe, embody, is that power, that energy, that intelligence, that unconditional love is moving in and through and as us, as in every moment of our lives, every breath that we take. And what I know and I affirm today for anyone hearing these words, taking these words in, embracing them, to embody them, is I know that there is that place in us that we can turn to at any moment to find peace and clarity, to find the calm confidence that power and that intelligence and that wisdom and that love is always in our favor. It is never against us. The overflowing abundance of that presence is constantly giving to us. Constantly. And it is our job, and I affirm this for all of us now, is that we are standing with open hands, open hearts, open minds to receive it. And what I know and I affirm is that this day and every day forward from here is that the only thing we take personally is knowing that force, that life force, that thing that beats our heart and breathes us when we are not paying attention. We don't have to do it. What I know is that is there for us. It is supporting us. That is the only thing we ever have to take personally. And it is from a personal place of gratitude. I know that as soon as I begin to feel gratitude from the bottoms of my feet out the top of my head, I am in communion with that presence. Because I feel joy, because I feel gratitude, because I feel it welling up, knowing there is something that in me knows absolutely that this is the truth, not just for me, for all of us. And so I affirm that this work of spiritual practice, of mindfulness practice, the practice, big or small, 5 minutes, 5 seconds of turning within, that each one of us knows what that is. And not only recognizes it and says, okay, cool, but actually takes the action. That's our job. To be in that conscious conversation all the time. The whole wide world is our home. The music we feel, the love we feel, the joy, the power. I affirm that the whole wide world opens to it now. That's my vision. So we can set aside the drama, the story. We can rewrite our own stories from this point forward. We have that power. We are supported in that choice. We are supported in that new creation from this moment forward. So knowing this and feeling that gratitude, knowing that these words are moving, have already moved into alignment with the truth that already exists in that one mind, in that one heart. We have not created anything new here. We have simply revealed what already exists. And it is for that reason that I'm grateful, and that I can let these words go into that law that has already taken them and bringing them into manifest form in this human experience. So knowing that it is good because it is God and it cannot be anything else but good, I let it go. You are loved, you are supported unconditionally. Return the favor to each other. Blessings. So it is. I hear the music
I hear the music
down in my soul.
down in my soul.
I hear the music
I hear the music
down in my soul.
down in my
Oh,
soul.
I hear the music
I hear the music
down in my soul.
down in my soul.
And the whole wide world is my home. Got a new day
I got a new day
down in my soul.
down in my soul.
I got a new day
I got a new day
down in my soul.
down in my soul.
I got a new day
I got a new day
down in my soul.
down in my soul.
And the whole wide world is my home. I love the silence down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I love the silence down in my soul.
In my soul.
I love the silence down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
And the whole wide world is my home. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. And the whole wide world is my home. And the whole wide world is my Thank you. Thank you for joining us again today. This is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to give back. As part of our prosperity consciousness here at Unity of Wimberley, we continue to give where we are spiritually nourished and inspired. We are grateful for the gifts that you have already sent in, and we affirm the gifts that you are sending in now. We know that Spirit is constantly working through us and as us to support all that is needed for our community and beyond. There are 4 ways that you can give. More than 4, actually, there's 5. The list keeps getting longer, which is really cool. You can text GIVE to the number on the screen. You can go to the donate button on our website, unityofwimberley.com. You can mail your checks to 455 White Wings Road, Wimberley, Texas. I said wings, right? Right Rings Road, Wimberley, Texas, 78676. You can tap GIVE on our church mobile app, and for Venmo users, search Unity of Wimberley, and you will find us on Venmo. So I invite you, as you take these gifts and the things that you are offering, take them into your heart, take them into your hands. And I always like to put my hands over my heart while we're saying this affirmation of abundance. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. So as we get to the end of our service today, some announcements just to let you know about a few things. Next Sunday, August 15th, we welcome back Reverend Jill, back from vacation, from her well-deserved summer break, and her talk, Truth Without Assumptions. This is the 3rd agreement in the 4 Agreements book. We continue with that wisdom. At this time, and we will keep you posted, we are going to stay live stream only. Please stay tuned as Unity of Wimberley's leadership continues to monitor and assess the current contagious situation regarding COVID-19 and the Delta variant and the potential impact on our membership. We ask for your prayers and patience as we do the very best we can to protect the health and well-being of everyone. Wednesday nights are all about the 4 agreements. Join us on Zoom, 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, for some very meaningful conversations. And don't make assumptions. That is the 3rd one. If you haven't joined us yet, it's okay. Consider doing so. It's a real testament to our willingness to grow and do the work, no matter what the limited circumstances, no matter what's happening in the world. For that hour and a half or some change, some great conversation that I think will help you to stay grounded. Tune in to Facebook Live every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Time, as I share on Tuesdays with Transformation Tuesdays, and Reverend Jill with Midweek Reflections. And we just share brief meditations, readings, insights, affirmations to keep you lifted up as best we can during the week. You can drop off your Feed My People donations in the front foyer, or you can send your monetary donations directly to the Crisis Bread Basket at P.O. Box 1721, Wimberley, Texas 78676. You can also do that online, and their website is there on the screen. And we ask, as we always do, Reverend Jill and I, please email your questions, concerns, or prayer requests to both of us, minister@unityofwimberley.com or asl@unityofwimberley.com. And the comment that I have for that is, if you don't feel like you're being heard, we need to know that you don't feel like you're being heard. We can't help you, we can't talk to you if we don't know that you want to be heard. And if you want to do something else in between there, if you want to call Leah and say, Leah, can I set up an appointment with either Reverend Jill or Reverend Kit? Please do that. We really would like to hear from you. We can't help you if you don't let us know, okay? So let's close out this day with the prayer for protection. And if you would say this together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right. I release, I let go, I let Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Take it, Julie.
No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let go.
I
Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes,